Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for Sabrina Carpenter in Baldur's Gate 3. This is going to be a combination of the Lord Bard naturally, as well as the Warlock, and in particular the Great Old One, since she signed a pact with Disney, and the Great Old One Mickey Mouse. That's my rationale for this, and it's actually a pretty fun multi-class too. We'll be starting off with the Bard, and if you want to make your character look like this is actually hair from Tep Kunset's DATV hairs for BG3, so from Dragon Age the Veilguard. So that's the hairstyle that I have there, just using the natural blonde colors that are currently in the game. The eye mod is just a basic one from the base game, and then also everything with the face and the makeup there. The face is actually Sculptor's Dream Cache face, but there is a Sabrina Carpenter face by Kizusiki here, and yeah, you can see what that looks like there. So if you wanted to download this face mod, although I found that this one worked plenty great, and this is available on console as well as PC, Sculptor's Dream Cache. Now, it just makes sense for her to be a bard, so we're going to go with the Vicious Mockery, and I like to have Mage Hand there to throw healing potions around. However, if you're the face of the party, Friends would make sense, and it actually just makes sense for this one. And for our spells, we'll be selecting a level 1. We're going to go with Healing Word, Dissonant Whispers. I like to have Thunder Wave here for the pushback, and you can pretend it's like a music wave, I guess. And then we are going to go with Tasha's Hideous Laughter. For our ability scores, we're all in on that Charisma and Dexterity, so our stat spread will look like 16 Dex and Charisma and 14 Constitution. And Sabrina Carpenter, if you're watching this video, big fan. So yeah, Jack of all trades, add half your proficiency bonus to ability checks you're not proficient in, and also the Song of Rest there, give us an extra short rest. We'll also take Fairy Fire for our spell at level 2 there, and into level 3 is when we get to take our subclass here. I thought about the College of Glamour, but I found that Lord Bard just works better, because she does have some pretty cutting words here, so use your wit to distract a creature. This is great for just protecting the team as well as some future things that we'll be looking at once we get into the gear side of things. So for our spell at level 2, I like to have a Cloud of Daggers, but she does have a tendency to be putting handcuffs on people at her concert, so Hold Person just makes sense here. You can also go again with Cloud of Daggers if you prefer, because that is guaranteed damage. Even Crown of Madness can work well. We'll then go with the ability scores here. I like to have Persuasion as well as Performance or Deception. Then you can put your other skills into Sleight of Hand, Stealth. I like to have Acrobatics as well, just so you don't get pushed around. Level 4 gives us another cantrip here, and there's nothing really super necessary for us to take. For our spells that we'll take on level 2 here, and Cloud of Daggers can be good, even Enthrall or Crown of Madness are pretty effective. And then for our feat at level 2, I'd recommend taking Charisma Increase here, or the Alert feat to go first in combat. Both of those are really good options. Level 5 gives us our Font of Inspiration, getting our Bardic Inspiration back on short rest, and our Bardic Inspiration is now 1d8. I'd also recommend at this level to take Glyph of Warding. This is a really nice spell because it's almost like a short-range fireball, and if you're playing as a half-elf, you can drop it at your feet and it won't put you to sleep. Now, level 6, this is really why we wanted this subclass. We're going to go with the, we can take, I guess, Plant Growth or Hypnotic Pattern. Actually, Fear is probably my favorite of those spells there. But we get some very powerful options here. So, Counterspell is something we can get from the Warlock, so we don't care too much about it. There is some spells that we can't get from the Warlock. Like, you can get Hunger of Hadar from a Warlock, but we don't get Spirit Guardians. This is extremely crucial, so we definitely want to have this spell. I like to take the Command Spell, but we can get that elsewhere if you wanted a different subclass, as the Great Old One doesn't have access to that, or Scorching Ray. Again, we do get Counterspell here, so Lightning Bolt is my personal preference for choice in spells. Although you could take Haste alternatively. I just like to have this as a damage option, especially into the mid-game. Now at level 7, I actually recommend at this point to go to our Mickey Mouse, the Great Old One here. And this allows us to take a very powerful spell, Booming Blade, as well as Eldritch Blast. And for this, we get the Mortal Reminder. When we get a critical hit, it can frighten creatures, which is nice. And then on top of this, we got choice of spells here. I like to have Armor of Agathis, and Hellish Rebuke's actually pretty nice. And actually, we'll go Hellish Rebuke and Hex. Armor of Agathis is nice, but we don't get higher level spell slots, so you're only going to get capped at 15 extra health. Level 2 of the Warlock lets us take, I guess, Arms of Hadar. We're going to go with Repelling Blast and Devil's Sight there, so we can see in Magical Darkness. Super useful ability, even with Spirit Guardians and stuff like that. Now, level 3 gives us access to some very powerful spells. We already got some of the things like Hold Person, so we got Darkness and Shadowblade there that we can use. Mirror Image is also nice to increase our armor class. And we're going to go with Pact of the Blade. This is just the best choice overall. It's okay to go with the other ones if you prefer them, but just not as strong. We also get another cantrip here, and I like Bone Chill to stop targets from receiving healing. And then we're going to take Shadowblade. If you don't like Shadowblade, you can take Misty Step. This is just going to be the highest possible damage, so it's nice. And now our only feat that we'll get next is we got to choose between either a charisma increase or the alert feat. And I also like the dual wielder feat. It kind of is fun on a build like this where we're kind of split down the middle in terms of what we're doing. So the dual wielder can actually be a very useful one because we can put in our offhand something like a staff that'll give us some extra spells, like Marika Heshker gives you chain lightning, which we normally would not have access to. So that's a good choice too if you want. But you can also go with the alert or the ability score improvement. I feel like for a music singer, it's cool to dual wield, so we're going to go with that for just the flavor and the fun aspect of it. Level 5, this is when we can get our extra attack here, and we also get access to counterspell, which we can use our level 3 bard spell slots on instead. And then we're going to take the agonizing blast, adding our charisma modifier to our eldritch blast. And then at level 6, we get our entropic ward, so you can use this reaction to give disadvantage on an attack roll against us, and if we succeed on that and their attack misses, we then get advantage on an attack roll against them. Huge benefit, so that's really great. And then we can also take Hunger of Hadar. So we got Spirit Guardians, Hunger of Hadar, Lightning Bolt. We got lots of great choices here. And the outfit I'm using is the Share Wraith armor here with the pink dye, the Aphrodite dye from Faerun Colors. Now, as far as gear options go, we only got light armor proficiency, which does prove a little bit difficult, but we don't have to worry too much because we got things like mage armor, which can actually help out here quite a bit. There are scrolls of that, which will give us a nice benefit so that it can take our armor class up a little higher. We can get to 19 there. This is without any armor class boosting gear, really. We have the Birthright hat adding a +2 to our charisma. However, if you don't want to go with the mage armor route and go with instead light armor, at this point we're going to add on the Helmet of Arcane Acuity, or the Hat of Fire Acuity, or even the Hat of Storm Science Power. If you go with the Fire Acuity hat, you'd rather take the Fiend subclass of Warlock or take Scorching Ray as your magical secrets. So since we're going to go light armor now, I showed you the clothing-based option. With light armor, we can go with the Ballast armor or the Elegant Studded Leather armor, which is similar to it, but it gives you the shield spell instead of the Aura of Murder, which we're not really going to use on this, but it's going to be the best available light armor that we got. You could also use something like the Hellisk armor if you got that, because it will give you the free proficiency, so that could be good too. You could also take a feat to give you medium armor proficiency, or take the Hexblade. The Hexblade is obviously a lot better here. I just want to make it a little bit thematic and use a subclass, so I don't use that often. And we got the Luminous Gloves here, which will, whenever we deal radiant damage, we apply 2 turns of Radiating Orb. This is great because we have Spirit Guardians, and we got the Callous Glow Ring, which will do 2 additional points of damage against targets that are illuminated. And this actually counts as 2 radiant points of damage, so this will proc these, which will also proc our Boots of Stormy Clamor, which will apply Reverberation, potentially knocking the target prone. Then we also have the Coruscation Ring, so when we do spell damage while illuminated, we also apply Radiating Orbs. So we can do a lot. I'd rather have the Luminous Armor there, but we don't have medium armor proficiency. Now I got the Staff of Spell Power here, and what I want to do is take it and give ourselves a free casting and upcast of Shadowblade. So this is going to give us a 3d8 version, so it's a little bit higher damage. And then we can put in our offhand Marika Heshker. The beautiful thing about this is with Marika Heshker in our offhand, we keep all the benefits of it. So we get access to the spell selection here, and I'd recommend using the Bolts of Doom or the winter one, because the cold damage can give you Cone of Cold and apply Encrust with Frost. This will give us lightning charges, which is arguably a lot better here. And then we got things like Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning for free. And the Aphrodite dye looks great on the Ballast armor there too. So yeah, that's that for that. I guess we also have the Hellrider Longbow to give us a +3 to initiative to make sure that we do go first. And also Shadowblade looks really cool when you got Marika Heshker lighting it up there. And in combat, we're going to float around like a feather here and try to apply Radiating Orbs to as many targets as possible. Obviously, not having the Luminous Armor, this can limit how much we're able to apply, but that's not to worry because we do have some sneaky ways of being able to apply more. So this is good. We're able to get that there. Now, if this target's going to proc an opportunity attack. So we get a couple options. We can go with a spell here to attack through, or we can just go with a melee attack. So I'm going to go with the Booming Blade there, which is going to be more than enough to take it out. And that also procs some Radiating Orbs around us, because Call the Weak, oddly enough, will actually proc off of this here. So the Callous Glow Ring, which will do a little extra radiant damage to targets. You can see we're actually applying a lot of these around the enemies, and it's also frightening them because we got a critical hit there. So we got Frighten, Radiating Orb. It looks really cool there. So I actually got good luck. It also adds additional damage from our lightning charges too. So this is really good. Now, we still have, I guess, one left attack that we can do here. So I'm going to go ahead here and just attack this target and miss. I ate up my bonus action there, unfortunately. That was not good. I was going to use a Chain Lightning, but we'll just end our turn. And here we go. Finally, we get a Cutting Word. So this can actually help protect our teammates, like you saw there. And you get some funny dialogue, too. It's great. We got pretty lucky. We got an enemy that just literally rocked right up here. I forgot to bind my pack weapon, unfortunately, so that actually messes up the thing. That's why we didn't get the extra attack there. So that's not ideal. I guess what we'll have to do is fire away with a chain lightning. If there's a target that you can get a really high percentage, like 95%, this target is a healer, and they are typically going to have a hold person or command on them, so we want to reduce them to 0 as quickly as possible. That worked out well. We were able to take out 3 targets in 1 roll. I guess with this right now, since I messed up and forgot to put on any type of, I forgot to put on the bind pack weapon, probably best to do some spell slinging then in this chance. Because the nice thing about this is we actually are going to get lightning charges from our item, but also get the radiating orbs off and a bunch of extra defensive abilities due to applying the radiating orbs. Now, we can also do an offhand attack, which is kind of funny. Sometimes it's just enough to do a bit of chip damage to take somebody out or get a fat critical miss. Now, we got 2 options. We can apply cutting words here. It doesn't really matter. Or entropic ward, which will just guarantee... Oh, actually, no, it doesn't guarantee. And we lost our Spirit Guardians. Wow, that was not ideal. Normally, it does not go that way, but yeah, since we lost our concentration, that sucks. But this also, since there's only 1 enemy left, we can do the old, put the handcuffs on them at the concert, and then go ahead with the booming music blade. There we are. So yeah, Sabrina Carpenter build. This more so is just it's a weird idea that I had for a while that I wanted to do. I play Sabrina Carpenter in Fortnite. I thought it'd be funny to do a build for her in Baldur's Gate 3, especially when I saw this hairstyle. It just feels perfect for her. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, hit the subscribe button below, and I'll catch you all in the next video.